Okay, so this video I wanted to make, I've been very hesitant about making this video because of my family upbringing and my family beliefs. But this video is not. I want to make a disclaimer before I start. This video is not to people please. This video is not to sugarcoat anything. And if you are highly sensitive, and if you support the people that I'm about to talk about in this video, click off now, because it'll be a waste of your time. It's only going to piss you off. Now let me continue with my disclaimer. Everything that I say in this video is my truth, my story. This is not personal. This is not to attack anyone's character. This is my truth. I'm gonna let you decide for yourself on whether or not my story is the truth or not. I'm not here to tell anybody what to believe. I'm not telling anyone to take my side or to oppose the people that I'm about to talk about. But this is my story. Okay? Yeah, so I want to give out a fair warning to those who support the people that I'm about to talk about and who are highly sensitive, that this video is going to have very gruesome and graphic content, meaning via verbal communication. I don't necessarily have any proof to support my story, but it needs to be told. Okay? Because I'm not the only victim that was chastised, antagonized, and ridiculed by this group of people. Okay? So that's just a fair warning for those who support the group of people that I'm about to talk about, and for those who are highly sensitive and can be triggered. My suggestion is either come back at a time where you can receive the information and not feel attacked. And if you support the group of people that I'm talking about, my suggestion is take off the rose-colored glasses. Because this group of people that I'm about to talk about, they're not good people, and they are narcissistic. And if you are a good person and you ever considered on being friends with these people, watch your back. Because I was, let's just say I was a fan of these group of people. I was a fan, a devout fan, a hardcore fan. I'd be one of those people wearing a t-shirt at one of their events. I'd be one of those people putting money into their business. I was one of those people, okay? So let me get started now. I don't know if any of you all know the members of the RDCWorld1. This is what this video is about. This video is long overdue, but I'll make another video as to why it took me so long to make this video. Because I know that when we're talking about these epidemics where there's like a celebrity scandal, whatever, a lot of people have a tendency to go against the person who has that least amount of clout. And RDC World clearly has a lot of clout. I barely got 2 followers, so I'm not expecting people to just take my side. I'm not expecting people to believe me. That's why I'm giving the audience the choice on who they choose to believe. Because I believe that at the end of the day, if someone's really telling the truth and they're genuine, they're going to give you a choice, even though they know they're telling the truth. Okay, so let's get to the point. Why am I making a video about RDC World? Well, let me warn those who are fans of their work. I'm not really going to say, I don't have very many nice things to say about them. I'm not saying this out of envy and jealousy. Let me make this clear. I'm not saying this out of envy and jealousy. Okay? I'm saying this because this story needs to be told. But the people who are in the group of RDC World 1, they are not good people. I repeat, they are not good people. They are people who are rapists and people who support rapists. How do I know this information? Why would I make such a bold claim, right? because I'm one of the victims of their rape. Well, gang rape to be specific, but yes, rape. Okay? The members of RDCWorld1 sexually assaulted me intentionally. Okay? So, if for those who are new to my content, I've made other videos about gang stalking and human trafficking and domestic violence and narcissistic abuse. I made other videos about this before, but I never really specified who these people were who put me through this traumatic experience. I did make clear that some of them were my family members. Yes, that's true. It's still true to this day. But what I didn't specify were people who were non-blood related, who were involved in this. Okay? The people who were involved in this, RDC World, they chose to participate in this activity. They weren't necessarily the criminal masterminds, but they didn't do anything to stop the situation either. They knew that I was a victim of human trafficking and they participated, treated me as if I was a consensual prostitute, which that was not true at all. They helped drug me. They helped held me hostage. They helped steal from me. They helped block opportunities for my growth. They sabotaged my career. They stolen ideas and money from me. Some of them even imitated my personality. Some of them took credit for some of my musical ideas. It was a lot that RDC World took from me, and I was not given credit. Okay? Not only that, but the sexual abuse on top of the blacklisting and harassment, extensive amounts of harassment that I suffered from this group. Okay? And I know a lot of people are saying, well, if you have a problem with somebody, why don't you address it to their face? That's a good question. But let me stop you right there, because I already tried that. Yes, these people have been abusing me ever since I was a child. Yes, and we're the same age, I'm aware of that. But they participated in my childhood abuse leading up to my adulthood abuse. They participated in it. Okay? They didn't make a stand and say, oh, this is wrong, we gotta stop doing this. No, they didn't. They kept sex trafficking me. They kept labor trafficking me. They kept stealing from me. They kept stealing my ideas. They kept blocking me from succeeding. They did. Okay? In a minute, I'm going to explain the tactics that they used. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I just want to make very clear that this video this isn't a tribute to them. This is an exposure video. Okay? Because at the end of the day, they abused me so badly that I was forced to make this video. Forced. Yes, I know a lot of people say, well, people can't interrupt with their free will. Did you see how many niggas was a part of the RDC world? And how I only have one person and maybe about, 12 fans? Okay? It's basically me against the world. Okay? Let me just make that clear. Did you see all them niggas in that group, right? And then you get one little female like me by myself. And I am a one-man team. I think it's obvious by the way that my content is presented that not only am I piss poor, but I'm by myself. I don't have support. I don't have a healthy following. I just don't, okay? And I own it. I'm not gonna pretend like it is what it isn't, okay? Because it's not. I don't have clout like that. I don't have a reason to lie about that. RDCWorld1 does. And before I was really fully cognizant of the extensive amount of abuse that they were putting me through, I was one of the biggest fans that they could possibly ever have. And I mean that with the utmost respect for the work that they put in their own channel. I was a huge fan of their work. Huge fan. I watch their videos every day. Their videos whether they realize, even, and I know, right, I'm speaking highly of the enemy, right? But their videos were so funny and inspiring and relatable that some of the, like, I've been through really hard times. I would just go watch one of their videos and they would make me laugh throughout the whole day, and I'd be in a better mood, and then I was over it. Like, that's how much of a huge fan I was. I was subscribed, I got all their notifications. Shit, even though I was broke as fuck, piss poor, I was even willing to put aside money to buy their products, to go to their events, because I was a huge fan and I supported their work. I respected their talent. You know what I mean? But this was before I found out all the backstabbing, all the fuckery that they were doing behind my back, and what they were willing to do to sabotage my career. This is the truth. I don't have a reason to lie, okay? I'm not looking for people, I'm not looking to get famous off of what happened to me. I'm not proud of my experience. And honestly, the reason why it took me so long to say something about it was because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed about what I went through. I was so embarrassed about how powerless I was. I was so embarrassed about the fact that I couldn't tell who was there for me, who was healthy, and who wasn't, because I had so many people ganging up on me that my judgment was clouded. And RDC World didn't do a damn thing to make my life easier. They did everything they could to make my life harder and to block me from being successful. I mean, really, it was slavery being connected to them. And I'm not joking. This is not a joke. I'm not joking about this. Okay, because I know when I make contents and I talk about subjects like this, I may crack a joke or two to lighten up the mood. But this is not a joke. I'm not joking about this. These men raped me. These men held me hostage. They took my free will from me. They attacked my womanhood. And for women, strong women who are feminists, understand how important it is, or our womanhood is to a woman. I don't care how gay you are, I don't care how masculine you are. There's a part of you that has a womanhood that is to be intact. And when you're dealing with people who are in their toxic masculinity, they will go out of their way to disrespect who you are, what you represent, and they will go out of their way, even to a point of inconvenience, to undermine your strength and your boundaries. And that is what RDC World did to me my entire life. What they did to me essentially was a hate crime. What my mother allowed these men to do to me was a hate crime. All of the members of RDCWorld1 knew that I was gay from a very young age. All of the people that I grew up with knew that I was gay before I did. I barely even knew that I was gay. Barely. The people, my so-called loved ones, knew damn well. It wasn't no goddamn fooling. It was no questioning. They knew I was gay. I never really tried to keep it a secret either. Before I even knew what gay was, I wasn't trying to hide it. Okay? Let's just keep it real. Keep it funky in this bitch. I never tried to pretend like I was someone that I wasn't. Okay? And that was clear to them. And instead of them being good men and saying, you know what? She's made it clear that she's gay, and we all know this deep down. Why don't we just leave her alone? Let's let her do her thing. Whatever, we could disagree all we want to. Agree to disagree respectfully. But let's just leave her alone. No, that wasn't the case with them. Okay? I even have a child with one of the members in RDC World because of unconsensual sex. Do you understand this? People that are listening, unconsensual sex. I did not consent to this. The child that I bear was not consensual, and I have not had custody or even gotten a chance to really meet my child because this was supposed to be a secret from me. I wasn't even supposed to know that I was being human trafficked. because I was being drugged. I was being hypnotized. There were psychological tactics used to get me to forget, on top of brute force, mind you. And then I was being ganged up on by family members, by celebrities. This is not something I'm proud of. A lot of people are like, man, you wish you could get the attention of celebrities. No, I don't. Because first of all, if only you knew how some of these celebrities treat people who could do nothing for them, you would understand that that celebrity ain't shit. Do you understand me? No amount of fame can make up for a person's bad character. Do you understand me, audience? No amount of money can make someone pleasant to be around. Is that understood? Have we addressed that now? Because all this idolatry, celebrity worship, null and void if you knew who these people really were behind closed doors and what drama they really go through behind closed doors. You would know this person ain't shit. Okay? I can't keep it any more real than that. A lot of these celebrities ain't shit, and they know they ain't shit. That's number one. Number two, a lot of these celebrities, they steal from people of the ghettos. They steal ideas. They take credit for other people's hard work and plagiarize. No different from when we was going to school. And we know we ain't do our English homework. We ain't write that paper we was supposed to write. So we wanted to hurry up and go on the website and try to see if we could, get away with cheating or plagiarizing. Come on now, we've all done it. This is just the adult version. We sit here and we worship these celebrities and we look up to them as if we aren't already talented, as if we haven't been given the God-given right to have talent. We're all born with talent. Okay? It's just the reason why a lot of these celebrities are poster children for humanity is not because they're deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize. Okay? It's because they fucked people over to get to the top. It's because they stole people's ideas. It's because they took credit for other people's hard work, and there was no way, shape, or form any reciprocity that was practiced at all. All they did was lie, scheme, and screw people over. That's it. And the only reason why they hadn't been exposed is because of this stupid-ass no snitching policy. Yes, I said it. The stupid-ass motherfucking no snitching policy. And I talked about this in another video. How staying loyal to a principle that doesn't support you emotionally, financially, or otherwise morally when it's being upheld in the wrong situations. Meaning, if you use that no snitching policy when it comes to a fucking rapist, how do you expect men to treat women better or children to be born in an environment that's healthy? There's no logic. None. If you're dealing with a motherfucker who likes to molest children and who likes to kill innocent people, and you're applying that no snitching policy, you're part of the problem. Excuse me. Excuse me. Like, that makes no sense. So you mean to tell me if somebody raped your little daughter, okay, because that's brutal, right? That's blunt and brutal, but there's some things that I've realized that we as human beings, we've been a little bit too light on certain subjects. And this is what leaves room for predators and abusers to get away with what they do. And you know what's funny? Because a lot of people don't give a fuck that it happened to an innocent person until it happens to them. That's real funny. That's real funny. Because I know a lot of niggas out there that's like, so this guy, he beat the shit out of your sister. Oh, no snitching. This person killed your mother, and your mother was a humanitarian. No snitching. This person molested your child. No snitching. Right. But then that same careless, apathetic asshole will be ready to blow a motherfucker's head off If any of these predatory narcissists even dare think about their daughter or their child, if a motherfucker, hold on, let me talk to these gangsters out here real quick. Let me talk to these motherfucking gangsters. Let me speak their motherfucking language. Cause this is the language of a gangster. How do I know that? Because some of my family members was gangsters and I grew up in the hood where niggas was shooting in front of kids. Okay? So let me talk to the motherfucking gangsters out there that don't play no motherfucking games and only care about getting their motherfucking paper, taking care of their family, putting food on the table, and making sure that they mental health is all Gucci. Let me talk to these motherfucking G's out here. Let me speak their goddamn motherfucking language with all the cuss words on there without being bleeped the fuck out. Cause now it's time for niggas to start getting fucking angry. If this was your motherfucking daughter or your motherfucking son and you was dealing with these motherfucking creepy ass celebrities eyeballing your child, even eyeballing your child, what the fuck would you do? If you was dealing with one of these motherfucking creepy ass higher ups, these motherfucking creepy ass motherfucking lawyers, these motherfucking creepy ass police officers, and these motherfucking creepy ass fucking predators in general, let one of these motherfuckers even touch your child. And I'm talking to the real gangsters that know what the fuck I'm talking about, who grew up with these creeps, who was touched by these motherfucking weirdos. Let one of these same motherfuckers who touched you as a child, gangsters, go anywhere near your child. Go anywhere near your mother. Go anywhere near someone that you care about. Let one of these motherfucking creepy ass animal cruelty hating motherfuckers go anywhere near your pet and see what the fuck is gonna happen. I know you'll blow that motherfucker's head clean off and then blow the smoke from the gun. How much you wanna bet? I'm willing to put stacks on it. Stop playing with me and stop playing on my motherfucking name. Stop playing with me. Even for a person who is not a gangster, who really, really believes in family and loyalty and loves the people that they care about. Let one of these creepy, and we all know who them motherfucking creepy ass motherfuckers be. We can sit here and try to act like, oh, well, I don't care, and I don't know what you're talking about, in a Bill Cosby voice, and I said that to be a smart ass. Let one of these motherfuckers go anywhere near someone you really care about, that you would die for, that you will kill somebody over. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it funky. I don't care if whatever I say is being held against me. I don't give a fuck. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. I said it. We all have somebody in our fucking lives right now that we will kill somebody over. Stop playing with me. We all have somebody in our lives that we will die for. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, humanity. Stop fucking playing with me right now. Because this conversation needed to be had. Stop fucking playing with me. Stop playing with me right now, bro. Because niggas want to act like they don't know what I'm talking about. Stop fucking playing with me. Because at the end of the day, what it comes down to is you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck until it happens to you. And then when it happens to you, you look stupid. Why? Because you didn't give a fuck when you should have. Yeah, I'm talking to these motherfuckers out here that want to play dumb. Who want to act like that they don't know what I'm talking about. Bitch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because you were a victim at one point in time. That's why you're so heartless now. But let a motherfucker challenge somebody you really love, you really care about. Let one of these creepy ass motherfuckers that you know is motherfucking creepy, that you wouldn't even be alone in a room with, be somewhere near somebody that you would kill a nigga over. And kill him over and over and over again with no remorse or no regret. Because this is where shit gets dark and ugly, but this conversation needs to be had. Because niggas that over here, tap dancing around it and shit, and over here cool buck dancing and cool dancing and shit. I ain't got no fucking time for that, nigga. We all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, and I'm angry. I have every reason to snap. I have every reason to talk to niggas like that because, especially adults, want to fucking act like, I'm so professional, and I have to uphold my image, and I have to just smile, plaster a smile, and I have to handle this correctly. Like, no, fuck all that. Okay, fuck all that. Because when we're dealing with iniquity, when we're dealing with evil principalities, that's not something you just plaster on a smile and be professional for. Especially in moments where, you know what I'm saying, you need to go to war. Fuck all that. When we talk about human trafficking children, that's some shit that motherfucking adults need to go to war about. You should be angry. You should be ready to rip a nigga's head off and cuss a niggas out. Fuck what these goddamn preppy, perfect, professional psychologists and psychiatrists have to say. Fuck them. Okay? Especially the ones that are full of shit. I'm not talking about the ones that are like, look here, I still have to be professional, but look here, I understand. We understand that, but I'm talking about these happy-go-lucky, low-key abuser-ass motherfucking who's abusing their goddamn motherfucking power. Talking about some, what? You're thinking about harming someone? You're thinking about killing? Oh God, jail, solitary confinement, mentally unstable, manic depression. What? Oh, that's not healthy. Oh no, we can't have that here. Like, bitch, I ought to bitch slap the common sense in your goddamn voice. I ought to slap the taste out your mouth for even dare. And it's people out there that are really like that, who really provoke that anger within a real nigga, real talk. Trying to act like they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They know exactly what the fuck you're talking about. And 9 times out of 10, they're the abusers. And the people who are listening to this fucking video and they want to act like they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, or they want to be like, oh, well, the victim. Something's wrong with you. I don't have a reason, nor do I care enough about someone's private information to lie about what happened to me. You know, the funny thing is, I really wasn't going to say anything. Why? Because I know what happens to people who speak out. Hence my entire life. I have been gang stalked. I have been harassed. I have been sabotaged. I have been abused, attacked, nearly killed because I did what I thought was right. I just did what I thought was right. I thought it was the right thing to do. I did it, and I almost died because of it. I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't think that anybody would believe me for what happened to me. What happened to me, I didn't think anybody would take me seriously. I didn't even think that anybody would care, let alone be interested or invested into finding out something about someone that they admire. That's not very pleasant. Okay? So I wasn't going to say anything because I don't have any proof. Not yet. But I wasn't going to say a word because I didn't think people would believe me, and I thought that if I spoke up, it would make things worse. I felt powerless. I didn't know who to go to. And then when I started trying to find like domestic violence advocates to speak to, I found out that some of them were actually people, narcissists that were in my life who had infiltrated some of these domestic violence programs as well. Oh, yeah. I didn't even, yeah, we finna talk about that. We finna talk about it, and we finna talk about it today. Okay, so one of the reasons why I wasn't gonna say anything was because I didn't think anyone was gonna believe me. No. And then also, the second reason, because I was trying to uphold that stupid goddamn no snitching policy. That was number 2. Number 3, because I was still loyal to my abusers, and I thought that if I stayed quiet, that I would eventually get back my earnings, my reward for all my hard work. I thought I would get credit. I thought I would get justice if I kept quiet. No, that was stupid. Why did I think that? Stockholm syndrome. That's why I thought that. Okay? So, loyalty to my abuser, no snitching, stupid ass no snitching policy, because I didn't think anybody would believe me. And another reason was because I thought I would get hurt over this shit, because I've spoken out before on moral principles and moral conflicts, and I was met with near death, torture, being held hostage, forced prostitution, so on and so forth, okay? The other reason why I didn't say anything was because one time I spoke up, but I didn't go to the police. I went to many different domestic violence programs, and I talked to them and I asked for help and I told my story. None of them helped me. They just offered me resources. Okay? And then I also ended up finding out that some of actually, if not all, of the domestic violence programs that I did go to, at least one or more of the narcissists that I have encountered in my life were a part of that program, infiltrating and keeping track of my progress and my healing so that they could use it against me later and come back and hoover, right? So I had to deal with that too. On top of the death threats, the harassment, and the physical, it got to a point where it got physical. Niggas started putting hands on me for speaking up. Now it had gotten to the point where when I did, at first I didn't say, I had kept quiet the whole time. It wasn't until like maybe 2-3 years ago where I started speaking up. I was quiet the entire time because of no snitching, loyalty to the abuser, and concern of being hurt or essentially backlash from speaking out. Okay, so that's why I kept quiet for as long as I did. It wasn't until about maybe 3 years ago where I just started speaking up now, about 3 years ago. Okay, and then when I did speak up and I started telling people who I thought were professionals, and then I ended up finding out that some of the narcissists that I associated with were part of these programs, infiltrating. I was made fun of. Seriously, I spoke with the domestic violence advocates, and I told them my story. I told them that I was being abused. I told them that I was recently raped, and that I was continuously being sedated against my free will. I was forced out of a job, forced out of an apartment. All of my finances were sabotaged. I explained to them everything because I had essentially hit rock bottom. I had nowhere left to turn and no one to trust. Seriously, that's how bad it got, because I was being ganged up on, not just by my family, but the members of RDCWorld. And then you have to consider all the celebrities that the RDCWorld are connected to that are a part of that human trafficking life, right? So I was being ganged up on by a lot of people, and a lot of them were celebrities. A lot of them were family members and very rich politicians, people who had power and money and influence were targeting me because they knew that they were a part of essentially sex trafficking me and labor trafficking me and stealing from me. Essentially, they knew that if the police were to find out what the extent of the abuse that they participated, they'd be probably going to jail for life. Okay? Or their reputation would be so severely ruined that no one would want to associate with them except for people who are just like them or worse. Okay? So anyway, it did get to a point where I couldn't stay silent anymore. The abuse had gotten so bad where I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I still refused to go to the police at this point, but I had to get some help because my life was I'm almost 30. I was almost 30 and I was going through the same things that I was going through when I was 3. Why is it that I keep attracting the same experiences when I've cut people off, I've let go, I've walked away, I've moved states, I've done everything that I needed to do? Why do I keep attracting this extensive amount of abuse? I'm setting boundaries. I'm doing this all by myself. No help from my parents, no help from my family, no custody of my son. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this all by myself, and I'm piss poor. I barely have money to eat. I'm starving at this point. I'm literally starving. Trying to literally find my life was so bad where I had to literally take hour walks to find pennies on the ground just to have something to eat. That was how badly I was being labor trafficked and sex trafficked. Think about how evil that is. I didn't do anything to anyone. I was just born in a family that was toxic, and I ended up getting trafficked. Labor trafficked and sex trafficked. And instead of giving me a place to stay, some food to eat, some clothes to change into. I was sleeping outside in the rain. I had to sleep next to raccoons, snakes, rats. There were times where I had to break into abandoned apartments to find somewhere warm to sleep if I couldn't sleep outside because I had gotten sick. My life was so bad, that I couldn't live like that anymore. It was affecting my health. It was affecting my body. It was affecting my reputation. I had been through so much that people not believing my story and my experience was the least of my worries at that point. I didn't have no job. Every time I tried to get one, okay, so I know that in many videos when the topic of human trafficking is talked about, they talk about the power and control dynamic, the power and control wheel dynamic. Okay, and let me just verbally explain to those who don't know what I'm talking about or who would like to know more examples and from a testimony of someone who's been through those examples of the tactics that narcissists use in order to maintain that power and control wheel. Okay, so it started with me when I was going to school and I was going to college. This is when the abuse started to become a little bit more clear, okay? But when I was going to college, I was not allowed to pick my own classes. I wasn't allowed to pick my own classes. I had to pick whatever my mother saw fit for me to take. And then when I did go to school, I was forced to go at a time at which it was convenient for my mother. And when I wanted to hang out with my friends outside of school, I have a life outside of school and work because I was going to school full time and working full time, working my butt off. When I wanted to spend time with my friends, even though I was a grown woman, I still had a curfew. And I had been a good kid my whole life. I wasn't perfect. Yeah, I made mistakes, duh. But I was a good kid, and I felt like I had earned the privilege of being able to spend time with my friends and be out as late as I wanted to because I was an adult. And I had proven to be responsible. I wasn't even allowed to do that. Yes, my free will was set. And a lot of smart asses who are privileged, who are willing to screw people over to avoid living in poverty, or people who just had it good, had it made, don't understand how someone can take away another person's free will. And I don't expect people who show that level of apathy to understand. This message is not for them. This message is for the people who understand exactly what I'm talking about, whether because they have a healthy enough amount of empathy to understand and reason logically how a person can take away your free will, or they're at least willing to understand, even if they don't know, even if they don't agree. They're willing to at least listen and be like, okay, well, I agree with I agree with the statement of no one can really truly take away your free will, but explain to me how someone can take away your free will. Okay, no problem. Mutual respect, right? So, yeah, started off with college, and I just noticed that little things that my peers had rights to, I didn't. Even my sister had more freedom than I did. So anyway, I just noticed that, even though I was a good kid and I earned my freedom, I earned being able to do more stuff, I still was being held in the house against my will. I was still being forced to stay at home and stay put. And I wasn't able to enjoy my life like a healthy child or a healthy adult even. I was always forced to stay in the house or stay close by, or even if I went out long distances, my family would stalk me. It was so unhealthy. I couldn't even get space from them. I couldn't even get space from the people who were involved in trafficking me, and some of the people who were willing to pay the people who were trafficking me for an experience with me. So even some of them became obsessed. So it was like if I wasn't directly dealing with my trafficker, I was dealing with people who were willing to pay for my enforced services, who were obsessed with me, who will follow me everywhere and do the bidding for some of these people who are trafficking me. So I never really had that freedom. I never really had that peace because I always had people following me for many different reasons. Because they wanted me to stay quiet, because they were my trafficker, because they were a handler, because they at one point paid for my services when I was a minor. Some of these celebrities paid for my services when I was a minor, such as 50 Cent, such as Eminem. Okay? I know people are like, well, you ain't no damn celebrity. No, and at this point, considering the price that I have to pay to become one, I don't want to be it. If being a celebrity and getting clout comes from being a pedophile or a rapist or a predator or a woman hater or a woman abuser, I don't want no parts of it. The fame ain't worth it. And if I reach a level of fame, I want it to be earned so that I can handle it when it comes. Not sabotage other people's fame because I'm scared to share the spotlight or because I'm not ready to share. I don't play well with others. Okay? So let me get back to, you know, why it took me so long to expose RDCWorld. RDCWorld, they're not the only ones, but they are the people who were there with me ever since childhood. We grew up together. You know? We've been knowing each other since Wisconsin, and I wasn't born in Wisconsin, but I was raised there in my early childhood. I moved to Wisconsin when I was 2. I left when I was 11, and the people who are a part of RDCWorld have known me since about that age. They've known me all my lives. You know what I'm saying? And they've been participating in my sabotage for a very long time. Enough to where, let's just say, the truth has a way of coming out. And people may not believe me now. They may not think that I was one of those children in Hollywood that was sex trafficked. I was, though. I was. And a lot of these celebrities are pedophiles. Just because they're talented, that doesn't take away from their character still. I mean, they've earned respect because they're talented, but when people find out what they've done to get to where they are and to reach the level of talent, aka stealing adrenochrome energy from children, i.e. me taking my energy, okay? Energy harvesting children and taking their authentic and pure energy for themselves. That's a reason why a lot of these A-list celebrities are so talented, because they energy harvest children. And we all know children are the most gifted, talented beings on this earth. And a lot of predators are aware of that. So what do? They feast off the energy, the blood, the flesh of a child to be able to retain that child's power, their gift, their spiritual gifts. And sometimes they're good energy. So you wonder why some of these celebrities aren't aging. It's not because they eat healthy and they take good care of themselves. It's because they harvest children. Some of these celebrities said where they make little slick comments talking about, oh, well, I use child semen, and I use the flesh of circumcised penis, and I use blah, 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 all that. They're telling you exactly what they're doing behind closed doors. They're telling you exactly what they've done. They just told you. But the people are so desensitized and they don't care because it's not them, that this is why this behavior is allowed to slide, and why innocent people are being forced to learn the hard way on why it's important to have empathy, compassion, and sympathy in moments where it's needed the most. Because you don't know if it could happen to you. Your family could easily be made an example out of anytime, any place, and you not have the power to stop it. Because you want to know how karma works? Karma is a spiritual process that cannot be controlled by man or any living entity on this earthly realm. Meaning that karma, if it's fair to say, is divinely orchestrated, right? So therefore, when karma is dished out and given, it always comes at a point where a person does not see it coming, whether the karma is good or bad. Why? It's because so that the person doesn't try to stop it. That's how karma works. So if you go over and you screw people over your entire life and you hurt people that love you, when you finally find a moment where you found somebody that you could trust, that you're willing to be loyal to, you finally find that person, right? And then you let your guard down, but then you end up finding out that they pulled a double whammy on you. That's how it works. Because most of the time, if we knew when our karma was coming, we would either try to stop it or control it and make the good karma come sooner. But that's not how it works. Okay? And how tower moments happen, because most of the reasons why I found out what was happening to me was not just because I was just so smart and intuitive and analytical and investigating everything. That's part of it, but most of it was because I had tower moments from the divine, the heavens, the angels, God, whoever my spiritual team was, my ancestors helped me. That's how I'm able to present this information and tell my story without zero evidence. Because the tower moments helped me find out what happened. Not because I was just a genius. Okay? The tower moments exposed people who were hidden, who were doing things behind the scene, or who stayed off the grid so that they wouldn't get caught. The reason why they were exposed because what they were doing was grimy and foul and uncalled for. And most of these people who were doing me dirty, I was loyal to. I took very good care of them. And I was the reason for their success. The sole reason for a lot of these people, I was the sole reason for their success. I was the majority of their success. And you take me away from them, and they would be nothing. They would have nothing. Why? Only, not because they're not talented or because they're not smart, but because they spent their entire lives stealing from me, harvesting my energy, fucking me and other people. That's why they have nothing. That's why they don't have anything to show for or to give. Not because I'm God or I just miraculously save people. No. Because some of these people really are talented. If they would stop trying to steal from people and trust their own talent, their own intuition, and their own inner guidance, and stop fucking people over, they would be they're really talented. Like, seriously, some of them are really, really smart. Some of them are very gifted, and some of them are talented and much better without me. All bullshit aside. But they're so used to taking from me because that's what they were rewarded for doing. You know, that's how they've reached their prime success, was by screwing me over. So that's all they know. I'm not making excuses for them, but if I'm putting myself in their shoes, I understand why they've gone out of their way to keep me quiet, why they've gone out of their way to shut me up and hide me from other people, hide me from the spotlight, because what they did was fucked up. Okay? Some of them are going to be going to jail for this, probably for the rest of their lives. Some of them are going to be getting the death penalty because of their heinous crimes against humanity. Not just me, but they've done this to other people. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, a person can run, from the truth, but only so long. And the society can only be fooled by a person's charm and mischief for so long before the universe provides society with a tower moment. This is how a lot of these celebrities are getting caught up. It's not because somebody snitched on them. It's not because somebody threw them under the bus. Sometimes that does happen. Some of these instances where it was no possible way that anybody could have found out, no one snitched on you. God exposed you. The universe exposed you. The person that you screwed over, their ancestors stopped you. A power much greater than what we could possibly see or fathom has stopped you. Your karma stopped you. Okay? No one snitched on you. Okay? You just were exposed by divine, by the divine team. It's just that simple. And a lot of these celebrities are being exposed, yes, by the victims. Yes, of course they're being exposed by the victims. The victims have every right to expose these people, because if the justice system, if the police, if the FBI, if the legislation or the executive branches are not going to do their job and provide that justice for innocent people who are victimized by narcissists, then we victims can demand justice by telling our stories and exposing our abusers, especially when it has gotten to the point where they've been figured out, they've been ghosted, and they've been ignored, and they are not taking the hint. This is why I exposed RDC World. Not because I'm bitter, not because I'm jealous, not because I want to see them fail, and not because I want to outshine them. The reason why I'm exposing RDC World is because of the way they treated me. The disrespect, the sabotage, the humiliation. My body was violated. My health was sabotaged. My personal connections were sabotaged. I was isolated. I was ridiculed, and I did not deserve it at all. And look, I'm a realist, and I keep it funky with people. If I deserved it for being an asshole, I would just simply say, I deserved that shit. Some of the things I've been through in my life, I knew it was karma for how I treated someone else. And I admitted to that. And I don't have a problem with admitting to it. If I knew more about my past life karma, I could probably even say that some of the things I went through in this life, I had to pay for past life karma. Okay? But at the end of the day, what happened to me with RDC World and my connection with them, it was abusive. And I would not lie about that. Okay? Because I, more than a lot of people, want to see black men successful, want to see them make it, and I want to see a positive image of the black community on social media. But I'm not so desperate to have that to where I'm willing to allow predators, rapists, and predators, rapists, and pedophiles to be praised the way people who they've stolen ideas from should be. Because a lot of these predators stole their talent from someone else. A lot of them stole their talent from someone else. And if they didn't outright steal talent from someone else, they stole someone else's idea, someone else's platform, and did not show any gratitude. Did not pay that person for their hard work or their ideas. There was nothing, no equal give and take whatsoever. RDC World took so much from me that I had no other choice but to expose them. These people were harassing me for 27 years, and they're still doing it. Even after they've been given that verbal warning from the social workers that are working on my case to leave me alone. Even when they were warned by the police to leave me alone. Even when they were warned by people around them that could see the way they were treating me to leave me alone. They did not take any warning. So I was forced to. Even now, to this day, this very day I'm making this video, they still are harassing me. Still using divide and conquer tactics and bully tactics to keep me quiet. Still. I was just assaulted a couple of days ago, punched in my face for protecting my dogs. And I believe that it has something to do with RDC World, or at least their association or affiliation. You know what I'm saying? I'm still being harassed to this day, and I'm the victim. I was molested when I was a child by these groups of people. These people isolated me at my workplace, created a chaotic environment for me, sabotaged me from moving up in the company. Every job I worked at, I deserved to be the manager. And every time I was sabotaged and fired. Every time. I had to go through this my entire life. I got tired of it. I got tired of being bullied. I got tired of being harassed all the time. Every day. I'm serious. 27 years of my life, I was harassed every day. And I stayed true to that no snitching policy up until today. I couldn't do it no more. It was too much. I was forced to tell my story. I was forced to get help from someone who had more power than I did. I was forced. I was prideful. I didn't want to go to anyone for help. I was ashamed, but I was forced. My life was on the line. I was starving. I was dehydrated. I smelled terrible because I was barely able to get a shower. Do you hear me, audience? Do you hear how badly I was abused and sabotaged? This is not me playing the victim. I am the victim. And as much as I don't want to say that I am the victim, I am. I want to say, oh, I'm no victim. I was just victimized. Hooray. Yeah, I want to badly, but I was a victim and I still am. I still am being victimized. I hate it, but this had to happen because they were not going to stop harassing me and bullying me and stealing from me. They owe me so much. RDC World, if y'all knew how much money, oh, lordy. If y'all knew how much money my family and RDC World and not all of these celebrities and these traffickers, if y'all knew how much money they owed me, I would be the mob boss shooting up everything. They would have all been dead because I know that they can't pay that back. I'm just saying, like, they owe me so much. They owe me 27 years of my life back. They owe me all the money that they stole from me, all my art that was hidden from me. Like, I don't have any access to any of my work. I don't have any copyright to that. No, I have none whatsoever. No, I don't have any copyright to any of my hard work. They have all the rights to my work, and they have full custody of my son. And I'm the victim. I get raped, right? I'm over here being human trafficked. So when I say human trafficked, I mean both labor trafficked and sex trafficked ever since I was a child. And I have not got paid anything, nothing, not even a quarter for my hard work. Nothing. Because all of my hard work that I put in towards hip-hop, towards choreography, towards abstract art, towards fashion, towards black culture, I was not given credit for. And I deserved that credit, and I still do. And I'm still suffering because of all the fruits of my labor have not paid off yet. I spent 27 years of my life busting my motherfucking ass, and I have not gotten a piece of the fruits of my labor yet. Not even a seed, not even a root of my hard work. All my abusers are reaping all the benefits of my hard work, and still are to this day, not paying me a dime, and they were never planning on it. Never. The higher power warned them to not only start paying up, but to start repenting and coming clean about what they did. They didn't do any of that. They didn't do the right thing, and they were never planning on doing the right thing. Okay? Never. They were given so many opportunities, 27 years to do the right thing, and they never did. Still to this day. Even though they're currently being investigated and forced to stay away from me, they have not respected that at all. And they're not planning on it. And see, this is why power needs to be taken away from certain people, because there are some people where they'll never do right by you. Even if they're paid to, even if it's in their best interest. Some people have so much evil, so much envy in their hearts, that they'll go out of their way to undermine you, even if it goes against their best interest. This is why I'm exposing RDC World. They hunted me down. They hunted me down several times, but essentially, when I had to expose them to professionals, they hunted me down, and they were like, "Oh, did you snitch?" You snitched? Not, oh, I'm sorry for raping you. I'm sorry for destroying your childhood. I'm sorry for isolating you from healthy people who could have been a good influence in your life. I'm sorry for taking credit for your hard work and forcing you to work as a slave and not get paid anything. Oh, I'm sorry for publicly humiliating you and creating circumstances to where you were embarrassed. I'm sorry for being the reason all your hair fell out. I'm sorry for your mental health and your physical health being in question. Yeah, I'm sorry for stealing all your clothes, all your art, all your homework, all your memories, all your pictures, all your friends, all your lovers. Yeah, I'm sorry for doing all that. No. No. Not an apology, nothing. The only thing I get from them is, oh, did you snitch? Oh, you snitched? Oh, so you snitched? Oh, but you snitched? I thought you weren't supposed to snitch. What happened? You snitched? Ladies and gentlemen, that is pure evil and narcissism at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't spell it out for you any slower than that. Okay? Sometimes the people that we look up to, who influence us, who help us get out of bed in the morning, are the very people who are willing to put us in a grave. And that is the bittersweet potion of life. Bittersweet. It's so bitter it makes you want to cringe and spit out whatever's in your mouth. But it's bitter. It's bitter and sour. It ain't even sweet sometimes. It's just bitter and sour and salty and savory. It just doesn't even taste good. It's not even a good combination. It's salty, it's savory, it's spicy, it's bitter, it's cold. And any sweet there is, it's artificial. Like those coloring, the like purple or blue or red, yellow flavored food dye. It's like artificially sweet. You know what I mean? That's sometimes how that's how narcissistic relationships are. The only sweet part is the love bombing. And like I said, that's that artificial sweet, that Kool-Aid as opposed to grape juice. Right? That coffee as opposed to the coffee mocha latte as opposed to green tea. That's what narcissistic connections are like as opposed to healthy ones. And I know that when we're dealing with normal people, when we're dealing with healthy individuals, you know, and we hear some shit like what I'm explaining on this video, a lot of people will probably be thinking, well, what the fuck was in this person's mind when they did all this? Or what the fuck was in this victim's mind for going through all this? You know, those are questions that only somebody who's been through the experience can answer. Because I at one point was that person who, when I saw someone being treated badly, I wondered that often. But then I also wondered what was in the heart of that individual who was abusive. And really, it takes experience to answer that question. Because empathy can only get you so far. Compassion and sympathy can only get you so far. But experience is the best teacher. So people can judge me and they say that I presented they can criticize the way I present my information. They can criticize for how I handle it. They can talk shit about the people who abuse me. But experience is the best teacher. So, I mean, I feel like I feel a little bit more at ease with myself now that I made this video, because there was a lot of negative energy that was pent up for me keeping this from you guys. I feel like, and then like we have to look at it like this, right? I know that a lot of people love RDCWorld, including at one point myself. But how would y'all have felt if RDCWorld1, one of the members, decided to hurt or kill a child, right? And then I was one of the victims who could have said something and stopped that from happening, but because I followed the no snitching policy, or I was afraid of all the naysayers and what they were going to say, and probably, you know, like, because, I mean, people who are fans, they're going to people who are loyal fans are going to be loyal to, you know, whoever they're a fan of. Understandably, right? You know, so the reason why I kept quiet, because I assumed that there was going to be people like fans who love RDC World and who love 50 Cent and Eminem, because I did mention them too. I know that didn't slip out my mouth. That wasn't an accident. I said 50 Cent and Eminem, and I meant to say that. Okay, so let me clear that up for those who are like, wait, did she just low key say 50 Cent and Eminem and then just slip that in there? Yeah, I did. I said that. I slipped that in there, and that was intentional. Okay, they molested me as a child as well. More specifically, when I was 7, when I was 6 and 7 years old. That was when I can remember Eminem and 50 Cent touching me. I'm not lying about this. And my mother, allowing it, drugging me, setting me up, allowing this to happen. And I know that this is a very traumatic experience for, especially from being a woman, having a mother that is allowing your body and your genitalia to be used as a money making machine. Like, just the thought of how evil and cruel a person could be to do that to their own child, let alone a mother doing that to their daughter. I'm not saying that it makes it more legitimate, a mother doing it to a son, or a father doing it to a daughter, or a father doing it to a son. I'm just saying that just a mother, like for somebody's mother, the person that's supposed to nurture them and take care of them and protect them, being the very wolf in sheep's clothing. I can only imagine being born like that. It's like being born to an alligator. You know what I'm saying? And you're a sweet, innocent child, and your mother or father is eating you to death. That's the environment that I was born in. I was a small, fragile little child, malnourished, premature malnourished child. And I had a predator for a mother, an evil mother. My mother was pure evil. And essentially, she used me as a cash cow. More specifically, my genitalia. And she allowed men to come in the home and have sex with me as a child to make money for the family. That was how I was sex trafficked. Now, don't get me started on the labor traffic. I'll talk about that in another video. This is not what I intended this content to be about. This is really about exposing RDCWorld and explaining the tactics that they used to oppress me and to sabotage my success. So let me explain, because this is the last part I'm going to talk about in this video, and then I'm going to cut it short. Well, I can't cut it short because it's long as fuck. But what I'm essentially trying to say is, let me get to the point. Okay, so the power and control wheel, how that was used against me and by whom. Okay, so like I said, it started in college. I started noticing that things I had to add, like simple freedoms and pleasures of life, as an adult, I had to ask for, and I noticed that my adult peers didn't have to ask. Like, I was fresh out of high school, but even then, it didn't really bother me until I started to, when I started turning 20, and I was no longer a teenager. You know what I'm saying? It started to bother me because there was certain freedoms that I had to ask for that I thought that I was well deserving of, that I've noticed that my peers didn't have to ask their parents. Like, for example, I had to ask my mom if I could leave the house. A lot of my friends a lot of my peers looked at me funny because we're all 20 years old, and I've noticed that a lot of my peers' parents let them leave the house. Once they turn 18, they can do whatever they want as long as they respect the rules of the house, which is understandable. Any parent that has their child respect the rules of the house, that's understandable. That's not what I'm oppositional towards. It was certain freedoms, like, for example, having to ask to go outside when I've just gotten home from school and I want to chill with my friends before I go to work. I have to ask my mother for permission. Or I had to have a curfew to come inside the house, and I'm a college student, and I've managed my I've managed my full-time job and my school life with a curfew. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to ask my mom if it was okay, damn near beg her to go to invites that my friends have, even if my friends are providing transportation. I still had to ask if it was okay. Even if I didn't have to pay for any gas money or anything. There was no inconvenience, and I was going to be brought back at a curfew. I still had to beg to go. And if it was last minute, my mother told me no, even if I had no plans that day. Like, it was just, my mother was so controlling. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just her either. She's not the person who should be getting all the blame. My sister, my grandmother, my father, other like immediate members of my family were also the problem as well, along with the narcissists that I was dating. It was teaming up with my family members to essentially take away my free will, withhold my freedom, and sabotage my success. I was like, and I'm not joking when I say I was ganged up on by a lot of people. This is when I started noticing that there was too much control and I didn't have enough freedom. And I deserved it. I earned it. Okay. So the next point was when I moved out of my mother's house because of the control. You know, there was a power struggle. And when I moved out, I noticed that even though I was a really good employee at all my jobs, I noticed how I had endless complaints, endless write-ups. I'd never gotten a raise for however long I stayed there. I never got a raise, and I was underpaid and overworked, and I wasn't even promoted. And I noticed that there were people who did less work than I did that were getting paid more than I was because they were the manager's favorite, or they were cool with the managers or the boss, so they got paid more. They didn't do their job, and I had to pick up the slack, but yet I was getting a write-up for not finishing my task, even though I finished mine and theirs, right? And then I was being falsely accused of stealing money from the register, and I wasn't. Therefore, they docked me my pay. Okay? This is all things I've had to experience while I was at work. And then I also noticed that, my transportation was also sabotaged. So when I was working, I didn't have a car at first, but I did have a bike. Somebody ran my bike over and completely destroyed it. They didn't steal it, which would have made more sense, right? It really would have made more sense if they stole my bike, because then I would have been like, oh well, they stole my bike. Somebody probably needed it. Whatever. Desperate. We in the hood. That shit like that happens. But no, somebody ran my bike over, destroyed it, ripped out the chain, destroyed the handlebars completely, to where even if I were to go take my bike to a bike shop, it was beyond repair and I had to buy a new bike. Okay? So that was destroyed. So then I had to start relying on other people for transportation because I couldn't afford to buy a whole nother bike. That bike was like, what, $200-$300? I couldn't afford to buy another bike, especially at the time in which this happened. This happened right when I moved out of my mom's house. That bike was my transportation, and it was helping me get a car. That bike was really helping me get a car. So when that was destroyed, it really set me back, and it was very hard because I was working a job and making an honest living, So I tried to go about it the right way. I could have immediately sold drugs, but I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to say that I did it me by myself, no help, without screwing people over, and I earned it so I don't have to worry about somebody coming along and taking it from me. At least that's what I thought. So here I am working my ass off at a job that's paying me minimum wage, honestly, in an apartment by myself, and I'm sitting here trying to make it, and first my bike's destroyed. Okay? Then I started noticing that people who were willing to help me get transportation, that were willing to give me rides for gas money, let's just say the connection that I had with them got sabotaged. I know it's crazy, like, damn, how does somebody go through this much bad luck? I wondered it myself. I still wonder to this day, did I do something that was bad in my past life that earned this? Because I wonder that myself, really, truly. Like, what the fuck did it was all the bad luck that I had faced really seriously had me contemplating what the fuck I did that warranted this response. Because it was like, some part of me was aware that I was a victim, but the level of bad luck, I had so much bad luck more than the average victim. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'm aware that I'm being victimized, but it's happening for a really long time, and it's like I have so much bad luck. Maybe there's something that I did wrong. Maybe I hurt someone and I didn't know. You know what I mean? And I still wonder that to this day. But I was met with so much bad luck. I was like, damn. It even got to the point where the people who were in my life, who may not have necessarily had anything to do with the trafficking or the abuse per se, were like, damn, Poe, like, did you piss somebody off? Like, what the fuck did you do? Like, why do you have all this bad luck? Did you do something? Do you have bad karma that I don't know about? Like, people were asking me, like, and I could tell it wasn't gaslighting. It was really like, dude, I'm concerned about your safety and your well-being. Like, it's getting to the point where I know that you're not that type of person that just fuck people over, but did you fuck somebody over? Did you just make a mistake? You know what I'm saying? Like, people were literally asking me this, and I was starting to question it. Like, damn, maybe I did. Like, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe I did something, and I maybe because it happened so long ago, I just forgot about it. And you know what I mean? Like, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we know when we get careless and we're arrogant, we're unaware of the damage that we cause other people. You know what I mean? So maybe that was the case. You know what I mean? Because I had so much bad luck. I was like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. And then other people were looking like, damn, like, I'm worried about you. You know what I mean? And people were really starting to worry about me, but I just didn't know what was going on. I couldn't give them an answer. You know, but it was getting to the point where it was becoming obvious. It couldn't be hidden anymore, you know? But anyway, so my bike had got destroyed. Then a lot of the connections that I had with people who were carpooling with me got sabotaged. But then at some point I kept working, right? And I got my own car. That broke down. I suspect somebody was tampering with it. So that the first car, boom, done, broke down. The second car, the same exact thing. It broke down. And these cars weren't in the best cars ever, but they weren't the worst cars either. They were in really good condition when I got them. And the next thing you know, especially the second car, and then next thing you know, right when I'm making money and I'm successful and I'm going to work on time and I'm feeling more confident and more successful, boop, car breaks down. Both cars that happened to. Oh, I got a little bit more money in my pocket. I can pay back people I owe. You know, I got a little bit more room to go have some fun, and I can save up to where I could, like, you know, do something with that money. And then next thing you know, car breaks down. Lost my job. Can't go to work on time. Get fired. Hi, Bud. Be patient, okay, Bud? I'm almost done with my video, Buds. Hold on, okay, handsome mans? Hey, honey, goblin, sit. Okay, no, we not finna have that. Hold on. We not finna have that. Sit down. Sit. We not finna do that. We not finna do it. We not finna do it. Y'all been patient this whole time. Y'all not finna start acting up now. Sit down. 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 Right now. Excuse me. Okay. You know what? Babies are ready to start going, so we can start. All right, fine. Y'all ready to go? Fine. Don't twist my arm. Sorry, y'all. Slight distraction because I got two pups. Two pups that act just like children. And they are a pain in my ass. But they have been my emotional support through everything that I've been through. And this is the raw, authentic version of me, y'all. So this is real. This is as real as it gets. And I'm out in the streets and making this video, as you can see. With my dirty ass, bummy ass shoes and my ashy ass legs and my motherfucking dirty ass back. Look at that. This shit dirty. Ugh, that dirty. Look at my motherfucking dirty ass. Look at my dirty ass little armpit. Look, that shit dirty. Look, that's sweat. Look at my shirt. Ugh, that shit dirty. Ugh, that dirty. Huh, honey bunny? That shit dirty. I know that shit dirty. It's all dirty. Damn. Like Dirty Dan face ass, right? Like, damn. Anyway, y'all. So anyway, when I started making more money and started being more successful, I just noticed that I was met with the highest amounts of resistance. I started being met with the highest amounts of resistance and sabotage. And when I reached my success, I didn't necessarily screw people over, but I started noticing that, when I started becoming more successful and I was earning more of my own money, I had to not really necessarily include some people in it. I couldn't include some people in it. You know what I mean? There were some people that just could not go where I was going. And it wasn't personal. It was just, I kind of noticed their subtle, behavior where it would become a problem in the future. And then, when I was coming out of high school, I was changing. That was that point in my life where I realized that I may not have known what narcissism really was to the full extent, but I was aware that whatever family environment that I was born into was toxic. And I noticed that I was also toxic as well as my family members. So it was only so much blame that I could put on them. But I was entering in a transitional period of my life where I realized that, I had to essentially change. And the people that weren't willing to go with me and change had to go. So this is how I was able to start pinpointing abuse on my own. I didn't have help. I didn't have, the resources to teach me this stuff. This is just really common sense, intuition, and some spiritual guidance, But this is how I was able to better identify that I wasn't being treated the way I deserved. Because, observing other people and them being treated better. And, it's just I guess the way I saw it was I was a good kid and I did more for my parents and my family than some of my peers that had the freedoms that they had. So I didn't understand why I was being treated like a slave. I didn't understand why I was being disrespected so much. Why I was being ridiculed, why my mother and my sister and so many other people in my family went out of their way to try to destroy what made me happy. And I started noticing that, and it became more clear too when I became a young adult. And then after my cars broke down, I just noticed that after that broke down, then it was my jobs, because I could still buy the metro bus, I could still ride the bus and stuff like that. So I still kept trying. I still kept pushing. Even though I didn't have a car, I didn't have a house. I was living in a broke down apartment or whatever. I still kept fighting. I still kept going. And then I started noticing that it was much, much harder for me to get to work. Because when I went to work, I for the most part made it on time. Within a reasonable amount of time to where it was still acceptable. But then I started noticing that it was much, much harder for me to get stop pulling. Anyway, it was a whole lot harder for me to get to work on time. And I didn't know why, because I'd never struggled with that before. And then it was basically I look back at it, and the people that I was living with and the people that I was around were intentionally setting up scenarios to make me late for work so that I could lose my job. And eventually it worked because I was being ganged up on. So then when I had no job, I couldn't really, uphold the apartment. I couldn't afford to get a bike or a car. And so right, I lost my place to stay. I lost my car. I lost everything. So then I still had clothes, right? I still had my clothes. I still had a little bit of food. I started having to, because I was so poor, I couldn't even barely, it just seemed like anytime I tried to get a leg up and have some money for myself, it never really worked out. So I had to learn to be poor, how to survive being poor, right? So what I did was I started looking into,
ways that I can get more groceries by spending less. And then I had to look into what foods would last longer. What foods would last longer in certain environments, and then and then I had to, I don't know. I had to learn a lot, and it was working for me for a while. And what I basically did was, when I got kicked out of my apartment, and I'm still trying to survive and fight this good fight, I put all of my possessions, like whether it was clothes or shoes or jackets, coats, bed, whatever, I had the U-Haul. So I was doing the homeless thing, essentially, because I didn't have nowhere else to go. My family members were very toxic, and I knew, like, they were offering help, but I knew that if I accepted their help, not only were things going to be way worse now that the mask had slipped from my family members, now that I had stood my ground, I knew things were going to be different. Excuse me. Yeah, I knew things were going to be different, and they just weren't going to be the same anymore. Especially after I had, stood my ground and spoken up about where I stood, and being unwilling to comply with what I felt were unrealistic demands. I didn't go back. So, and that should say a lot about my family. If I'd rather be homeless than go back to them, that says a lot about the way they treated me. Okay? So I tried the homeless thing for a while, the whole U-Haul thing, and, paying monthly, and, I was doing really well. Like, I really was doing really well with, like, payments and staying on top of it, and going to work and making it look like I wasn't homeless. I was doing a really good job at first. But there's always a but, and it's a big old one too, a big old anaconda booty. But it got to a point where I got fired from my job because the continual sabotage, but also living on the streets and everything, and having a job is a lot harder because you have to maintain proper hygiene, right? And you have to be on time. But there were times where I had to move because it was convenient for my homelessness, and it was farther away from my job. So there was times where I unfortunately missed work because of the distance, or because I smelled terrible and I wasn't able to get a shower, or because I wasn't able to get to the U-Haul in time to get a clean pair of clothes so I can go to work. And so it was like I can either get ridiculed or stay at home. And there was a lot of times where I had to go to work just as is, not even being able to get a decent shower because I was so broke. I was struggling so hard, and I needed the money, so I had to go to work as is. And it's embarrassing. But think about the if I had people like the RDCWorld in the background and my family members who are sabotaging me, if you put the pieces together, right, psychologically, because a lot of people like to, especially in the black community, they like to clown somebody who's not really doing well. And this is another reason why, as a side note, why the black community doesn't prosper, because we're so quick to make fun of one another when we see one another looking less than funky fresh, dressed to impress, ready to party. Anybody that's on a social status that's less than that is getting clowned. And that person can have more integrity and more heart than all of those people that look fresh to death combined. But because we live in with the black community, we at times can be a little bit superficial because of the the PTSD that we've been through. It's to a fault, and this is what stops the black unity. This is what stops the black uprising, and this is what sabotages the black empowerment, is when we clown each other. I've had more of my own people clown me, and I was broke. And my own people were the ones who put me in that circumstance. And then when I was broke, my own people didn't help me. They didn't reach out a helping hand. They didn't put no money in my pocket. They humiliated me. Black people did this to me. Black people. The ones who play the victim and say, oh, well, the police are shooting me and the police are doing that and the system is fucked up. And those same people were the ones who did me dirty, who were unjust towards me, who oppressed me the same way they complained about. And we have this detrimental behavior in the black community where we're quick to throw somebody under the bus who's willing to show that they have feelings. We're quick to fucking crucify somebody for being a nerd, or for dressing quote unquote tacky, or for being out here loving these hoes. We're quick to try to clown somebody for doing that and doing the right thing and walking in character with their head held high. But somebody who's out here willing to rape women gets more praise than I do, or more praise than a person in the black community who has more integrity than a fucking rapist and a woman beater. Like, that's bullshit. But this is the type of behavior that has gone on in black families for quite some time. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of black people who were considered the weird kids know exactly what I'm talking about. Because the reason why some of us don't even like claim being black is because we were kicked out of the black community by our own people. And guess what? When we were kicked to the curb by our own people, guess who were there to pick up the pieces? Yes, other races of people. Oh, God forbid. Oh, and God forbid that a black man dates outside their race, or a black woman dates outside their race. Then it's a party foul. Then no, you've lost access to your black car forever. No, you're not a part of the club. Oh, God forbid they date someone outside their race. But yet, anytime they've ever tried to give their own people a chance, this is what happens. Human trafficking. I mean, come on now. I mean, what the fuck? Or if a black person in the black community tells their story and speaks up about the abuse they've been through, then it's, oh look, that motherfucker a snitch. Oh, you a little bitch. Oh, you a little bitch ass little snitch. Oh yeah, you snitching? Oh no, you talking? Oh you going to the, that's how you going out? Oh, you going to the popo? Oh you oh so you a little rat. Oh, so you a little Mickey Mouse. Oh, word? Oh, really? Is that how it is? Wow. I ain't know niggas was snitching these days. I ain't know that niggas get paid to be talking and shit. I ain't know niggas was not gangster no more. When I get the memo? I didn't get the memo when niggas wasn't being no gangsters no more. It was when Madman Papa said that they were cool to start snitching. Huh, massa? Since when? I ain't getting no memo. I didn't get no memo. That's how we sound. That's exactly how the fuck we sound. And it's embarrassing. Like what? Come on now. Come on. We're literally putting ourselves in a trap. No one's even putting us in that trap. Hey, no. Do not go after that cat. Absolutely not. No. Goblin, mind your business. Honey, mind your business. Come on, keep it moving. Anyway, that's how we sound. That's how we look. So, I think I'm done with my rant, but I just kind of wanted to really kind of just shed a light on some of the people who are responsible for my turmoil. I know that, there's some people that I know back home that were wondering, man, why is she always musty all the time? Why she fucking, god damn. I know. Okay, first of all, I can smell my own shit. Okay, I know my shit stinks. I don't sit here and I don't try to act like it doesn't. It's a big ass pile of shit. I'm not gonna try to act like that's cereal. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. But the reason why, it seemed like I was just never, ever taking care of myself was because there were a gang of people behind the scenes. They were hiding like little ants in an ant pile. They were hiding They were hiding behind their dirt, their deeds. And I was being scapegoated. And for a long time, I knew that they were doing it. And I didn't say a word because I thought that was the right thing to do. And it wasn't, okay? It just simply wasn't, because it was making me look bad. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was making me look bad. I could no longer carry the weight of everybody who was ganging up on me. Like, I just couldn't do it. You know, it was too much, you know? Because it was like, you know, the people who were complaining, like they would, you know, like they had nothing to do with the situation. Well, some of them didn't have anything to do with the situation. So when they would complain, it was understandable, but they didn't understand like the abuse that I was going through as a child. They didn't understand that. Or not as a child, but just like at the moment they were asking like, hey, you know, no, something's not right. You struggling. What's going on? Can I help you? What's going on? It's like, yeah, like, and in the back of my head, I'm like, yes, of course I want to accept your help. Yes, but I don't think you understand. My abuser's dangerous. Other people have tried to help me and have either ended up dead or hurt behind this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, like, some of the people who observed me, who may have prejudged me, I don't think they really truly understood. How can I explain it? Come on, babies. Okay, so I don't think the people who at one point observed me when I was doing like my worst, and they probably, okay, honey, I'm gonna need you to walk right because you almost tripped me several times. Okay, so I don't think that the people who observed me from afar, who were just judging me and thinking that I just wasn't taking care of myself or that I just let it happen or, you know, whatever, they don't understand the hell and the trauma that I was going through behind closed doors. They don't understand the fact that I was a slave in my own home. The home that I worked so hard to build. I built that home. I was literally the backbone of the family. And instead of my family giving me credit and giving me, you know, credit where it was due and appreciating me, they spent their entire lives and my entire life hiding my talent, my potential, my skill from me. And the only time they ever gave me credit was when I already figured it out for myself. They didn't tell me this. They didn't tell me this when I was suicidal and I thought about killing myself. They didn't tell me this when I was alone and depressed and I hadn't eaten for days and showered for months because I was so depressed because I didn't want to see the world. I didn't want to be outside. You know, they didn't say that then. They kicked me while I was down, handed me razors and things that I was allergic to so that I could kill myself. That's what they did. No, literally, like, I'm not being sarcastic. That wasn't metaphor. That wasn't a metaphor. Like, when I was suicidal, they put razors right next to where I sleep, and then they would try to feed me peanut butter or put peanuts in my food. And be like, oh, well, I know you're depressed, so why don't you finish the job? In that very, like, nonverbal, passive-aggressive way of saying, you know, go kill yourself. That's how my family responded. They didn't say, oh, well, you know what? Damn. Okay, I didn't realize that my jealousy, you know, got this ugly, or, you know, maybe I should have told you this sooner, but you were always funny, or, you know, nothing. No, nothing. Still to this day, nothing. And I'm not looking for it now, but, you know, you would think that, you know, like a flawed person, a good person that's just truly flawed and let their emotions or jealousy or insecurities get the better of them and treat somebody badly, or, you know, they kind of act in a shitty way temporarily, you know, most of the time at some point would take accountability of their behavior. That was never done. Not by RDCWorld. The people that the fans of RDCWorld look so highly of, none of these people had integrity when it came down to it. None of my family members had integrity when it came down to it. When I was sitting there crying because I was wondering if I was going to die, if I was ever going to get out of this situation alive, or if I was ever going to see freedom, or if I was ever going to get the hard work that I was wondering if I was ever going to receive the reward for my hard work, my family members were laughing at me. No, I'm serious. They were like literally laughing in my face, pointing at me like it was a Carrie movie. When with the moment where that bully had spilled the pig's blood on her and everybody was laughing and pointing at her in the movie, That's literally what my family did. I was not psychotic. I didn't see things. My family members were laughing at me, and they still laugh at me to this day. They're still doing it. Some of these fake accounts that you see on my comments section, I can tell you exactly which family member that was. Because I know the way they type, I know the way they speak, I know their energy, I know the way they think, and I know how they respond. I can tell you exactly which family member did it. I can tell you which ex-friend did it. That's how much they've infiltrated my life and on social media. All to protect the fact that they human trafficked me, destroyed my life and my innocence, and victimized me unfairly. Set me up to be publicly humiliated. Like, cause I think I explained this in a video before when I explained human trafficking and gang stalking and how there's like the link between the two, and how I just explained the power and control wheel that abusers use on their victims. It's the same thing. You know, a mother whoever is the more intelligent of the two, whether it's a mother to a child or a teacher to a student, the teacher or the adult in that situation knows that if they send you off to school with wrinkled clothes, the kids are going to make fun of you. They know that if they send you to work without a shower for a whole week, that you're going to be embarrassed. They know that if they misplace the soap, if they take the perfume, if they destroy your clothes, if they set up circumstances to where, say, you're coming home from running errands all day and you're about to take a shower and you're going to work and you're dealing with an abusive person in your household, they know that if they sabotage your efforts from taking a shower, you're either going to one or two things: go to work embarrassed, or not go to work at all and not make any money. And this is what my abusers deliberately did to publicly set me up for failure. This whole like personal hygiene, situation was a strategy that not only my mother used, but other members of my family used to intentionally publicly humiliate me and isolate me from having any healthy friends or family in my life. That has been like the number one thing till this day that my family has used against me. They intentionally sabotage me from being able to take care of myself so that it makes me look like I ain't shit. When you throw dirt on top of a diamond, you don't recognize a diamond until you shake the dirt off, right? Well, that's what my family did to me. I'm a diamond and I know it, and other people know it and they see it. But my family members still to this day go out of their way using the same tactics that are at this point old as hell to isolate me from people. But the only difference is, now that I'm in a different state, now that I'm around, people who don't know me, instead of it being personal, because when I was around my family members, it was personal. They had something to be jealous of. They were the ones that were going to be the most affected by my success or failures. But now that I'm around people that I don't know, that could care less what I'm doing, care less what I eat because it don't make them shit, are not concerned about that. My family members are. And it's when let's just say when you're a victim of narcissistic abuse on top of gang stalking, my suggestion is, when it gets intolerable at your hometown or your home place, move. Every time you move, it puts you in a position of power and puts your abusers at a disadvantage. Because it's nothing like being in a town where you're around a bunch of strangers who have no reason to hate you, have no bias against you, and simply don't care about your private information. They don't care. Versus people who have everything to gain out of having access to your private information and have everything to gain out of you looking bad. Strangers don't care about that. And actually, strangers have more to gain from helping you reach a point of success than sabotaging. People understand family members sabotaging you because it's personal. But it doesn't make sense to be sabotaged by someone you don't know. Therefore, most strangers don't do it. So I've noticed, and this is a word of advice that I want to give to other victims, that if you are in a domestic violence situation, I would suggest moving. There's no harm in that. But if you say, hey, well, domestic violence, it ain't enough. Okay, well, if you're going through gang stalking and domestic violence, get the hell out of town. Because if you keep moving, or if you go to a place where people don't really know you and they don't fuck with you like that, how you connect with strangers is purely off of respect and what you bring to the table. It's no longer personal. So that's why, moving to another state or another country or whatever around people that you don't know is actually an advantage, and it's a disadvantage for the narcissist, because you two are at the same, what am I trying to say? You two are at the same level of playing field, and because narcissists only know how to win by playing unfair, they're going to be at a disadvantage, especially when they're dealing with a bunch of people who don't care about the drama. Like, I don't know you, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So narcissists don't benefit from that. So when you and the narcissist are in an environment where y'all have like a bunch of strangers, just know that you probably be more at an advantage, especially if you handle it correctly. Because I noticed that when I was with the narcissist and I was in an environment with strangers, I survived and did much better there than when I was around my own family. My own family knows when I'm lying. They know the type of person I am, and they know that whatever the narcissist told them was a lie, or it was either exaggerated. My family knew that, and they went with the lie or the exaggerated truth because they wanted to have a reason to hurt me even more than they already have. Whereas when I was dealing with strangers, they had nothing to gain out of teaming up against me, especially if they wasn't getting paid to do it. And they really had nothing to gain, and they had no motive because I did nothing. I'm not the type of person where I just go and start shit with people, especially people I don't know. So when the narcissist has tried to turn strangers against me, it didn't work. And we actually ended up becoming friends, because that stranger's like, well, why is this person going against you? You haven't given me any problems. I can't take sides because I don't know you, either of you. And I have to have more information to get down to the bottom of it. Strangers are going to be the ones that are going to be more willing to get down to the bottom of it because they don't know either one of you. So therefore they are not at liberty to really take sides unless they're just, they're either an abuser or they can easily identify the victim. Other than that, most people cannot identify the victim and the abuser off of first conversation, or the second, or the third, or the fourth. It's going to take time. And with strangers, if the narcissist is following you and stalking you everywhere you go, if you go to another environment and you know about this place, that you're moving to, and they don't know the area, you're at even more at advantage. Because then the narcissist is going to have to start fresh. Who are they going to go to? If they don't know nobody in this town, you don't know nobody, who are they going to go to? Right? So it's just, I've noticed that the narcissists, because the people that were in my life that were close to me, they follow me. They follow me from Chicago to Wisconsin, from Wisconsin to Texas, from Texas to now Arizona. They follow me. Them motherfuckers follow me. And I'm like, this ain't something that I'm making a joke about. These motherfuckers follow me, including RDCWorld. This ain't no joke. But what I noticed is that they were doing the same tactics in the same environment. And I'm not saying that it didn't have its negative effects. Because being abused for so long does have negative effects. But, come on, babies. But, I realized that I was in an environment filled with people who, they didn't have a reason to hate me. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have nothing against me. They just saw, they see what they see, If they see you're hard work, or they see that you mind your own business, strangers respect that, because there's enough hell that goes on in this world. If you're peaceful or you mind your own business, people respect that naturally. And the narcissist is going on a rampage, starting mess, starting drama, trying to, stir up trouble, trying to make you look bad, throw dirt on your name. And it's to a bunch of people who don't give a fuck. And 9 times out of 10, if they respect me and they don't care that this narcissist is dogging me and dogging my name out, they're going to warn me about this person. The funny thing was, it was people that I didn't know that were strangers that were warning me about certain people's behaviors. Not really so much my family. My family only said something as it benefited them. If it didn't benefit them to say anything, they didn't. So every time they did tell me something, my family members warned me about a person, I questioned their motives. So, but anyway, so I just want y'all to understand why I took so long to say something, and how difficult it is for me to still continue to go on about life when I'm still being harassed after everything that I've been through, after all the family members and friends that I've lost, all the loved ones that I've lost to this abuse, this similar abuse that I've been through that I barely survived. Other of my loved ones didn't make it. Some of my loved ones that been through what I've been through are not here today. They were abused just like I was, and they're not here today. So, yeah, this is a story that not very many people live to live to tell the tale. Some of them don't even live long enough to realize what was happening to them. So for me to still be alive and be able to tell my story and not be interrupted, which I have had to deal with several interruptions along the way. That's why it took so long for me to get out the full message, and there's so much more information. But this is why it was so hard for me to get out this information, because every time I tried to tell my story, my phone coincidentally got stolen. That was another part of the sabotage I've had to experience, aside from the broken bike, the cars that broke down, and the jobs that I lost, all the phones that have gotten stolen. Coincidentally, at the times in which I was gonna share a story or talk about a topic that involved my life or the abuse that I went through, my phone would always come up missing. So, I just want y'all to know that some people are not everybody's full of shit. Not everybody's making excuses. Some people really are going through stuff. Some people are really being abused so badly that it looks like they have bad karma. It looks like, they're self-sabotaging. It looks like they're the abuser, and they're not. Some people are really going through stuff. And I know that, for those who are privileged and their lives are doing well right now, don't be so hard on the people who you feel are taking a long time to get themselves together, because those people have a story to tell. And for those who are willing to take the time to listen, take some time out of your busy day to listen, you'll know that some of these people are victims. You know what I'm saying? We're all people, whether we're victims or not. We fall on hard times, and some of us don't get back up. But some of us were put on hard times and were forced to stay there. Some of us. So, my words of wisdom for the general public. Hey, Goblin, honey, I really need y'all to be careful, because we're out in the street now, okay? Please, baby, don't be doing that extra stuff, Goblin. Anyway, so my word of wisdom for the general public is don't be so quick to judge a person who doesn't smell so good, or that doesn't dress the best, or they don't look the best, or they may have a bad attitude or whatever. Not everybody's a narcissist. Not everybody's an abuser, and not everybody deserves to be in the situation that they're in. Some people, now's not the time. Now's not the time. Okay, so anyway. So not everybody is a narcissist. There are some people out here. Goblin, you about to make me mad. Stop pulling. Okay, so not everybody is a narcissist. There are some people who fall on hard times and don't get back up. And, it just takes a special person who's willing to take the time out to help people. And I mean, not these fake ass covert narcissists that pretend they care and they do acts of service to get good karma and so that it can play into their image. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people who have been through it and they want to be the change they want to see in the world, or they want to break that cycle. Or maybe even some people who may not have necessarily been through it, but they don't want that to happen to anyone else. They don't want to see that happen. They may have seen it on TV or heard about it or had someone close to them go through it. But, they didn't go through it themselves, but they have a healthy enough amount of empathy to know that it's not okay for someone to go through that, especially if they're innocent or they're a child going through it. So, that I wanted to share that with you all because, I want you all to know that my intentions and my motives behind exposing our DC world are pure. They really are pure. I wasn't going to say anything, and I didn't want to say anything because it's not that they truly deserve it, but I didn't want to ruin their career. Like if I wanted to go, if I was going to be successful, I really, really wanted to go about it the right way. I really wanted to earn it all on my own. And even if there were people who were bitter and spiteful and envious enough to try to destroy my life, that I was just going to brush it off and keep it moving. But unfortunately, things didn't go the way that I had hoped. Unfortunately, I was put in a predicament where my life was in jeopardy and I was going to die if I didn't say anything. I was going to keep being abused and sabotaged and homeless like I still am to this day. Things are getting slightly better for me, but not because, it wasn't because I set boundaries. It was because I had help, because I spoke up. If I hadn't because of the people that I was dealing with they were so evil that it didn't matter what boundaries I established. It didn't matter if I blocked them or if I moved away. They followed me everywhere I went. I truly don't understand why they were so obsessed. I really don't. Those are questions that I would love to know the answer to, because I don't think I'm that special. I really don't. To be followed and harassed like that by multiple people. I didn't understand why, and I still don't understand why this happened to me. You would have to ask the members of RDCWorld1 why they traumatized me like that, why they abused me the way they did, why they raped me and take away, something that wasn't theirs to have, why they attacked my womanhood like that. You're going to have to ask them, because those are questions I can't answer. The only thing I can tell you is my assumption, but we all know how, when we getting down to the bottom of certain things, people don't like to hear assumptions, especially if I'm accusing huge, big stars like RDC World. Those are they on the map right now. So if I come out and I start talking my shit, people are gonna be like, well, shit, where is this coming from? Why the fuck would they do that to you? Why you? I don't know. I want to know. How about this? We write put a list in the comment sections below and put down a motherfucking questionnaire. 21 questions. We can play 21 questions if you want. And don't be asking those stupid ass questions that I've already given the answer to in the video or that's obvious. No, ask. Put it in the comment section below. For real. Because you may be able to find some questions, some good ass questions to ask. That would be a good ass question for me to answer, and I'd love to answer, or that I may not even know the answer to, and I want to know. I want to know myself. Why'd they do it? Who was all involved? Whose idea was it? I want to know too. I demand answers too. Because some of y'all are fans of these people. Some of y'all support these people. And you deserve to know who you're supporting. You deserve to know who your children are following. Rapists, okay? And then we wondering why our children are acting funny these days, because they're consuming the energy of the celebrities they idolize. That's why. Not knowing that this motherfucker is a pedophile. Not knowing that this motherfucker is a rapist. Not knowing that this motherfucker is a murderer. A psychopath. Right? So not only do people deserve to know who they're following, but children deserve to know who they're looking up to. And they deserve to know the raw truth. Because this is how children are better able to prepare for the future and defend themselves when they know the cold, hard truth of how the world is. That there are predators out there. That there are people who hurt innocent people out there. This is how we protect our children. And this is how children become smarter and wiser and better able at detecting narcissists. This is how children can be educated. Is when the people that they thought that oh man, this person's so talented. This person can sing. This person got bars. This person is athletic. They got some of the best jump shots. Man, they got some of the best. Man, this person throws like a bullet coming out of a gun. Man, but did you know that this person is a murderer? Did you know that this person screwed other people to make it? Did you know that this person was trained on how to be talented in their particular gift and they did not pay any of the people for their services? Did you know that? That this person is spoiled and ungrateful? And that even though they're extremely talented, everybody hates them? Did you know that? Oh, no, you didn't. Well, it's good to know. So when you become talented, don't be that person that everybody hates, or your reputation will precede your talent. Come on. Come on. Come on, babies. Anyway, no, honey. No, it's dangerous. Come on. Yeah, so I wanted to leave it off on that note. Unfortunately, no, I'm not able to really provide any evidence because I don't have any at the moment. But let's just say when the truth gets revealed and the people that are part of RDCWorld get exposed, and all the other people who were involved in at least my human trafficking, or at least human trafficking of innocent people, then we can start asking them tough, the $1 million questions, and let's see if they'll give an answer. Because trust me, this awkward silence in the moment where, the fans ask the questions and then the accused, the person who's being accused has to answer, that was that same amount of pressure that I was put under for no reason. Imagine me going to school. All I want to do is go to school to learn math and science. I mean, not math. All I wanted to do was go to school, learn science and history, and then play sports. Maybe even do some extracurricular activities, but that's all I really went to school for. Everything else I didn't really care for, and I would not have cared much if I dropped out of high school because I just didn't give a fuck about school, to be honest. But those little things kept me going. But imagine going to school and like you have to catch the bus, right? But my mother would intentionally make me late for the bus every morning so that I have to run after and chase it, right? But in the morning, because it's in Houston, Texas, it's hot. So if I'm running in the morning to catch my bus, I'm sweating. I have a smell. So when I get on the bus and people are like, damn, why you already? It's only morning time. It's not even hot yet. It's because my mother intentionally held me back from catching the bus on time. So then I always had to run after the bus. Therefore, boom, almost every morning. Then it got to the point where I was like, all right, well, I had to establish that boundary. But it was just like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it was just like, I had to go through that every single day. So it's like, I don't know, like a person has to kind of wonder, like, what was that like intentional? You know what I mean? Like, are you intentionally setting this person up? And then like, hey babies, come on. And then like, okay, so I had to, go to school like that, right? Clothes too tight, embarrassing. So people are like, are you pregnant? Are you fat? It was just like, it when I look back at everything that happened, it's definitely clear that it was intentional. But it was like, I guess I never really thought of it like that. Like, I didn't think that my family would ever stoop that low. I thought we were just poor. But then I kind of thought about it, and then like I observed my sister, and then I observed my mother, and they had more clothes than I did. And it was just like, just little things that, were like major red flags for somebody who, major red flags for somebody who is, grew up in a poor family, but, everybody was treated equally and fairly. You know what I mean? Or somebody who was wealthy and they had a child that was spoiled and a child that was not. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I just looked at many different family dynamics and some that were similar to mine. And I just noticed that it's just something was off, okay? It was just many red flags that let me know something was off. I didn't know anything was strange until I started, I don't know, just noticing that I was never getting what I wanted, and I earned it. You know, that's when I started. It wasn't really so much observing other family members and observing other families. I mean, I think that's what kind of tied the knot. But I started kind of noticing when little things that I would ask for, I didn't get. And it was like, it almost felt like it was deliberately being withheld from me. And then like my life was being made a whole lot harder. And then it was one time where when I was a kid, I had saved up it was like $97. I saved up $97 from all of my allowances and all the money that I'd ever found or ever been given. And I saved it up because I wanted to I didn't know why I wanted to save it up, but I just wanted to. And then I had this like purse that had my initial on it. And I remember when me and my mom went inside the store, it just disappeared. It just disappeared. And I had worked so hard to save up my money, and I was a child, so I'm pretty sure you can figure that I'm a child growing up in a poor ass family, piss poor. Me and my sister have to share clothes, and I'm stacking up all the money that I've ever been given for allowance or just lucky days or finding something on the ground or just from years of just, I don't know, just whatever, like just saving that money, you know. And I didn't have a job or anything. You know what I'm saying? Come on, babies. Come on. And just years of like saving it up and not really having a job or anything and not spending it on anything and just saving it up. I ended up racking $97, which was not a lot, but whatever. But it was like, you know, a lot to me. It's like I was a kid and I wasn't going to spend that money. So if I had kept saving, which I was a saver when I was a kid, so any money I had, I saved it. You know, but then I would notice that like it would come up missing, or say if I bought something big, like if I bought a camera or whatever with my money, that big item that I bought with my money would end up gone. And then like say like people who would like give me gifts for my birthday and stuff, like there's one time in middle school I got this necklace from like, you know, this boy I used to have a crush on or whatever, and it was like really sweet, and it ended up missing. And I just noticed that. And then like all my video games ended up missing. And it was just like things that I spent my money on, you know, that and it wasn't like I was working or anything. So it's like, where else was I going to get money like that again, right? But things I spent my money on would always come up missing, you know. And I just noticed that like I could never have nothing. And then the things that came up missing, I got blamed for it. So not only did I spend my hard-earned money getting whatever it was that I wanted, but for it to end up thrown away or missing, that happened a lot, you know. So then it just became clear that, okay, there's clearly some sabotage going on in the family. You know, it was always my stuff that ended up missing or stolen or thrown away, you know. So yeah, I know that's tough, but and what did RDCWorld have to do with it? Well, I guess my assumption is my mother and their parents knew each other, and that was how. That's the only thing that makes sense. Because I really wasn't that close to the people of RDCWorld, but we were in the same environment. So, and they were the ones who were stealing from me as well. They were the kids who were doing the dirty work. But I'm pretty sure, you know, like all groups of kids or any kid, there's always a bad adult. If you get a bad kid, there's always a bad adult that's right behind them, coaching them every step of the way. Come on, babies. Goblin honey, come on. Yeah, there's always a bad adult coaching them along the way. So as much as I would like to blame RDCWorld for everything, you know, they were coached since children by toxic adults to act that way. That's the one thing I can take a little pressure off their back on is, you know, we were all kids and they were being influenced by toxic adults. The only difference is that I decided to not follow the adults because I knew that what the adults were doing was wrong. They, on the other hand, knew it was wrong, but they were willing to partake in it because the adults said it was okay. But now that we're all adults, they can't make that excuse of, oh, well, mommy and daddy said it was okay to participate in human trafficking and gang stalking and bullying behavior and thievery. No, we're all too old for that. You may have been able to use that excuse up until you're about 18. Now we're all in our almost finna turn 30. You can't use that excuse anymore. You could say, oh, when we were children, we were forced to do this and forced to do that. Or when I was living with my parents, I was forced to do this and forced to do that to survive. Yeah, understandable. But now that we're all grown and we've long moved out of our parents' house, it's no excuse. And at this point, you did it because you wanted to. You did it because it was in your character. You did it because you had evil in your heart. It's just that simple. Maybe when we were kids, you could say you were manipulated or forced. They can use that excuse. If anyone were to ever ask RDC World why the hell they responded the way they did, why did they treat me the way they did, they can only use that, oh, well, my mama forced me to do this for so long, before they're forced to admit that they did it because they wanted to. They did it because they chose to. And I'm curious to know what explanation they're going to provide, if any, if they're ever put on blast. But I would like to know, because there's some questions I can't answer, because I was a victim of human trafficking. So not all of my memories were there. You know, I was drugged, you know, raped, hit in the head, followed around, memories wiped. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Their memories weren't wiped. They remember everything. I don't. And I'm telling you parts of my story. Okay? So keep that in mind. I don't remember everything. And I'm telling you a large sum from what I was able to put, from context clues to common sense, putting the pieces together, to some things being revealed to me through tower moments or through divine or through dreams or whatever, you know, through dreams or whatever. And they know it all. Their memories weren't wiped. They weren't hit on the back of the head. You know what I'm saying? They weren't drugged. So they remember all of it. They know that it wasn't consensual. They know that I wasn't okay with it. They knew. So as much as they could be like, oh, well, and they can even all collectively gang up on the leader of RDC World and say it was all him. But the reality of it is, it's only one person, one leader. Y'all could have all told him that it wasn't okay. But y'all all went along with it because it benefited you. So don't start throwing each other under the bus now. Don't start putting all the blame on the adults now. No, y'all grown and y'all was still doing this even after y'all moved out of y'all parents' house. So what's the excuse now? I'm telling you, they went out of their way to publicly humiliate me. They went out of their way to sabotage me. They made sure. And if God had not stepped in, I probably would have been dead. Do you understand me? Like, that's how vicious they were towards me. And to be honest with you, I don't know why. I don't know why. I wish I knew. And you know how most people, like, when they do something wrong, when they do something wrong and then the person they wrong responds and then they try to act like they don't know what happened? No, this is not that situation. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know why they responded that way. I really don't know what their issue was with me. I don't know why they hated me so much. I don't know why they went out of their way to try to dominate my life. I don't know. I don't. I wish I knew. I wish I knew why I was being gang stalked. People say, oh, it's because you're a chosen one. Yeah, but I still don't know much about that, though. I don't know a whole lot about it. Only that you're supposed to be ridiculed by your loved ones and by your peers, very similar to how Jesus was treated. But I don't really understand why. It still doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that question. And quite frankly, I can't make any guarantees to the general public who decide to watch my video that you'll get an answer from RDC World or from the abusers that participated. You probably will never get an answer. Because when you're dealing with someone who's narcissistic to that level and evil to that level, they know, they're fully aware of the consequences, the effect that it has on the person they're abusing. They know. They just don't want you to know because there's that power struggle between good and evil. They don't want you to know why they did it. Some of them will just flat out tell you, I don't care. I do what the fuck I want, because they're just evil. And I wouldn't even be surprised if RDC World were to decide to go that route, because at this point, if they get exposed by me, which I have no reason to lie, I would like to say that I'm a pretty credible source when it comes down to certain things. I'm not going to talk about it unless that's what I feel is the truth. And even if, say, I find out I'm wrong somewhere down the line, I don't mind correcting it. So I like to view myself as a credible source, because I don't need to lie about that type of stuff. And I'm not willing to be blackmailed or bribed into keeping quiet. A person couldn't pay me enough money to keep quiet. Because what's the point of having all that money when I can't even look myself in the mirror? No. So I'm glad that I got to share my story with you guys. I know that this video was very long. I'm going to chop it up in different parts so that it's not so long. But, I just want y'all to know that there is good people out there, and there are people who are being abused. And those are the ones that often at times don't smell good. Those are the ones who get hooked on drugs. The one who their clothes are ripped up and baggy, and you wondering why they don't change their outfit or go take a shower. Those 9 times out of 10 are the victims who've been severely abused to the point where they can't even function. They can't even take care of themselves because the abuse was so bad that these people who look bad, they look ragged, they look rough, they look toe up from the flow up. Some of these people were abused, they were victims, and they should have been dead. So you should be lucky that you're not putting roses on that person's grave. You better be lucky that they stinking up the place, because at least they still here. And those are some powerful words that you won't hear from very many people, because not very many people value human life. They don't see the worth. If you don't look the part, if you don't smell good, your life is worth nothing to a lot of people, and they will treat you accordingly. But what these people don't know is that they're making a bad situation worse. What they don't realize, what they fail to realize, and what some people really legitimately don't care, is that they're making a situation worse. They don't know that that person was beaten so badly, to where they had to go to the hospital. Some people don't know that this person barely escaped with their lives away from someone, meaning that they didn't get to take food. They didn't get to take Ralph Lauren. They didn't get to take polo t-shirts. They didn't get to bring their favorite J's with them when they had to run out of the fucking house with their abusers. And the reason why I'm talking so harsh is because some people who have this self-righteous attitude that you always got to be clean and you always got to look right all the time, get on my fucking nerves. And they need a bitter taste of their own medicine. Excuse me, preppy to prep, but not everybody can be clean like you. Not everybody can be sparkling nice and have the best J's and the best shoes and the best makeup and the best weave and the best smile and the best, oh my God. Not everybody can be a picture perfect plastic like you. Not everybody can smell nice. Some of our shit stinks and we know it. And we don't give a fuck. And we want everybody, especially those preppy little peps, to smell that shit. Because some of them are actually responsible. Some of these people who like, oh no, girl, you dirty. Girl, you musty. Girl, you ugly. Yeah, some of those people that smell good all the time and they're so attractive are responsible for other people's downfall. And instead of them being secure within their own beauty, within their own power, within their own fashion, they had to tear other people down to have that. Keep that in mind. Some of these wealthy people are not wealthy because they were born into it, because they worked their ass off, or because they had lucky family members. They're like that. The reason why they smell so good every day, the reason why they look so good every way, why they're so groomed, is because their entire self-esteem It's built off illusions. They're in confidence. They stole from other people. It's not even, it's arrogance, it's vanity. They don't have a soul. It's just ego. So the reason why they smell good all the time is because they have no soul. The reason why you can't smell a scent off of them, like human flesh or blood or piss or shit or anything, is because they're dead. They're dead people. That's the cold, hard truth. They're dead inside. They're zombies. They're vampires. They don't exist. Their blood is cold. They have no heart rate. They have no reflection in the mirror. That's why. That's why they're so cold-hearted. That's why they're so evil. Why they're so cruel. Why good people like me and you and the man down the street have to walk with holes in our fucking shoes. It's because we get greedy, evil assholes who steal and take from others with no regard for their feelings. No empathy, no remorse, no guilt, no conscience. That's why. So you want to know what, world? You want to know what, YouTube viewers? Yeah, my shit stinks. It smells like death. It smells pitiful. But you want to know what the difference between me and these walking dead zombies out here is? That I have a heartbeat. That I have a pulse. That I have a conscience. And I can look in the mirror and say, I didn't fuck a child. I didn't go out and rape somebody. I didn't take away someone's free will and force them into slavery. So I don't give a fuck if I walk in a room smelling like shit. Why? Because I didn't sell out. You know what? My smell carries so far. It's a perfume out there called P-Funk. That's me. That's all my credit. I deserve all that credit. I'm P-Funk. That's me. All of it. I get all the credit. Here, God get all the blame. If someone walks in a room and smells bad, even if I just took a shower, that was me. It's all me. Put the blame on me. Make fun of me. Because at least I can live and sleep at night. At least I can wake up the next morning. No, I didn't rape somebody. So you can talk all this shit about I don't have no money. No, I ain't got no fucking money. But at least I have a conscience. No, I ain't got no fucking fame. But I got my soul. So you can talk all this shit about these good people who work their fucking ass off. They work their ass off to take care of their children. They don't backstab people. They don't throw people under the bus. They don't steal from people. They rely on their talent and their hard work and their labor. While you pieces of shit who ain't never had to work a day in your life, who steal from people, who fuck people over, who molest children and rape women, get to sleep easily at night. Huh? That's the way the world is nowadays. Where people can rape people and molest children. But if you step up and you do the right thing and you speak out, people act like you ain't shit. That's bullshit. And I made this video so that everybody can hear what I have to say, because I have a voice. And I'm a human being. And I deserve to be respected. And I demand that shit. No more will I tolerate motherfuckers who ain't shit telling me I ain't shit. I got heart. I got heart. And good people out here got a fucking heart. And they don't deserve to be treated like shit by people who ain't shit, who ain't never gonna be shit, who ain't never gonna change, who ain't never gonna take accountability for their shitty behavior. So now, the truth is out there. No more bullshit. All the universal secrets are out there. So now, human beings, it's up to you individuals to choose. What are you gonna do? What kind of human being are you going to be? Are you going to be a narcissist? Or are you going to be a leader? It's your choice. But at the end of the day, when you're burning in hell after the life you lived, you can't blame anyone but yourself. You can only blame your children. You can only blame your parents for so long before you have to look at you, before you have to point the finger at you. Now, what are you going to fucking do with your life? Is the world going to change or not? Are we going to advance as a human society or not? Or are we going to perish? It's up to us to decide, but we don't have much time. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this shit to people when they know better. We, as a human species, know better. We know better. And we're too wise to be doing this shit. We're too wise. We know too much. No more of this narcissistic bullshit is gonna slide. No more. No more excuses. No more lies. No more secrets. No more false prophets. No more wolves in sheep's clothing. They gotta go. So you decide, what team are you on, good or evil? Pick now.